All right. So, hello. What is up? Welcome to Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. I am really. Oh, shit. Let me turn that off. Okay. Hopefully that fixed that. Okay. I wanted to clarify some things today because I think a lot of people. Hey, Heidi. I think a lot of people think that this is called Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday because I started off with my big ass mug of tea. Um, which everybody's always like, holy shit, you weren't kidding when you said that your cups were huge. But but also, um, they think like, oh, it's just morning time. So this is like, wake the fuck up, haha. No. I want to share with you why this is called Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. Okay? Because it's a story. It's a story about my cancer and my journey. And I'm not going to tell you the long version. I'm sure if you followed me long enough, you're getting in touch with the long version. But I thought it was really important so that you understood why I show up and do this every single week, why I have my podcast, why I even started my business, right? Okay. So when I was about 30, I'm going to be 49 this year. Oh my gosh. So I'm 48 right now. When I was 30, I was living the good life. I had gotten into the top program in the country for what I wanted to study at UC San Francisco. And I was studying there. I was married to my first husband, who's an awesome dude. Um, we did not split up because he was not an awesome dude. He had other reasons. And I was climbing in Yosemite almost every weekend. I would just study like on my way over there and then come back. And I was having amazing adventures and I just felt like my life was fucking dialed. And in many ways it was. Then I go to, at the time, my husband then was living in a different state to start his job while I was still finishing up my program at UCSF. And so I guess I have a history of like having partners that I don't have to be around all the time. But anyway, I meet up with him in Oregon. We go climbing at Smith Rock, and afterwards we go to the pub in town in Bent, and I have like a beer and some fish and chips. And that night, like at home, I was in the fetal position, like on the floor of the bathroom. And we're like so confused. This is not my first time having fish and chips. He had some of my fish and chips. It wasn't like a food poisoning thing. I was like in serious abdominal pain. So he goes to like the 24-hour mini mart or whatever, gets me some stuff for indigestion. It helps a little bit, but it never like totally goes away. So I get back to San Francisco, make an appointment with the student health clinic. I go in and I realized like I think this might be my gallbladder because I had like fatty foods and I had like, all this other like stuff that seemed like it could aggravate the gallbladder. And I thought that my mom had a gallbladder problem, which apparently later I heard she didn't. So they order an abdominal ultrasound. And at UCSF, they have you, they do an ultrasound of your whole abdomen no matter why you go in, which I think is pretty cool because as a healthcare provider it annoys me when they're like, what part of the abdomen do you want me to look at? And I'm like, just do the whole fucking thing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so they're looking at my gallbladder, but then they keep saying turn around, and they're like scanning my back here, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm new to this healthcare field shit, but I know my gallbladder isn't back there. And then the woman's like, I'll be right back and the doctor will be in. And I'm like, what the fuck? Um, I know I haven't been doing this a long time, but I know that you didn't smile and say, okay, the results will be with your primary care provider in like 1 or 2 days. So, she steps out, the doc walks in, he's like, hey, he's all like positive energy. He's like, hey, we just saw something, we saw a cyst on your kidney, and those can be normal, but this wasn't what was causing your symptoms, by the way. We have no idea what that was, totally unrelated. But you have a cyst on your kidney, and it's not a simple cyst. It's thick walled with septations, and it could be cancer, but gosh, you're only 30. You don't have any risk factors, do you? And we go through them, And he's like, yeah, it's probably 99% probably nothing, but we should get a CT scan because that will be more clear. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, okay. But I'm in the middle of midterms. And then after midterms, I'm prepping for finals. So, anyway, it's like the new year by the time I get this CT scan. And I'm super anxious. My husband at the time had a friend in radiology at UCSF, asked him, could you please read these results? And cancer. He's like, I'd like to say that I'm not sure, but it looks like cancer. And he goes, and we won't know 100% until you go in and get a biopsy or get it removed. So, anyway, there's that part of the story, right? So then I start crying. At the time, I was living with my friends from college and I was in their house. I like got out of my room. I knocked on their door. I crawled into bed. I started crying. They held me. It was very sweet. And then I was like, I'm going to fight this shit, right? And that's a whole other story. But what I wanted to share with you was that the gift from all of that was that I had to have some realizations that didn't require me to win or to beat it. It actually involved, instead of me like armoring up and doing the shit, which I did, but the most transformational part was me being vulnerable and falling apart and surrendering to my mortality, to the fact that I might not make it. My type of cancer, renal cell carcinoma, had a 5% 5-year survival rate. That means only 5% of people will live 5 years from the day of diagnosis. I mean, I was like freaked out. So I had to really, while I was fighting the fight, I also had to really understand I might not win. And while I know there is a value in, like, I'm not even going to consider that option, for me, that's where my transformation really happened, where my growth from the experience really happened. Because I already knew I could do hard shit, which is why I knew I could fight the fight. But I did not um, know these other things I was going to learn. And that's what I want to share with you right now. Okay. So when I did this journey, I was like, okay, I am living this amazing life, but this might get taken away from me. I mean, first of all, I might not survive since 95% of people don't live past 5 years. And I might, if I do, I might not be able to do all the rad shit that I normally did in life, the climbing, the like adventuring and all of that. I had no idea how this was going to impact me, right? And so I had to sort of explore, well, who am I without external validation that my life is awesome and worth living, right? Who am I if I can't do all these adventures anymore? Who am I if I can't do all this rad shit? Who am I without all of these outward signs of a great life, of a worthwhile life? And I really had to go on the journey to discover what my purpose was, what my unique gift was, assuming this happened to me for a reason. It's not like I was supposed to be doing something, but this got in the way. It was, this is telling me somehow what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So when we have hard shit happen, and instead of resisting it, we say, okay, how does this fit in with my greater purpose, right? So that's what I had to do. That's the work I did. I mean, I did a lot of shit, like coaching, wilderness fasting, deep dive soul work, like into my shadow work, all kinds of shit. Because I was like, who am I and what is my life without all this external stuff? And through that came my realization of what I was supposed to do, right? Now, let me kind of fast forward. So then I start my coaching path. I enroll in a coaching program and all this. And in the meantime, I'm supposed to be getting um, regular scans, right? Those of you that may have been on this journey too, you have to do all your monitoring and all of these little like or big scans. I don't know if at the time I was getting different ones every 6 months or what. But anyway, I go to get my regular one. I'm waiting for the results. Um, I've been cancer free now for a bit. I and then I get this call on a Friday afternoon. I go on a trail run. I get this call on a Friday afternoon. Listen to the message. Hey, it's Dr. So and so, my oncologist. Hey, I want to talk about your results. So give me a call back. I'm like, fuck, I missed the call. So I call him back, and his office is like, oh, he's left for a long weekend. He'll be back in the office probably on Tuesday. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he did not tell me like anything. And I'm like, and then I'm reading into like, I'm asking my friends to listen to his message. And I'm like, what do you think? Does he sound happy? Does he sound like sad? Like, can you tell? And they're like, I don't know. He seems pretty just like normal about it. And I'm like, does he always not leave a result so that people don't assume that if he doesn't leave a result, it's bad? Or was this unusual? And it's just like mind fuck. So, by the way, future oncologists, like, don't call your person Friday afternoon if you can't deliver the results soon. So, fortunately, that weekend, I have a coach training. And at the coach training happens to be this amazing soul, Sabina Weiss. And she had done extensive training with Bill Plotkin, a ton of soul work. I'm just mind fucked from the whole ordeal, not knowing what's happening, if there's a recurrence or metastasis or something. And she's like, does anybody feel like getting coached today? I'm like, me right here, please. So she goes, Anna, come on up. And she's like, so why do you want to get coached today? And I'm like, blah, 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 kind of going into my, oh, I'm so stressed right now. I was waiting for these results and I'm just annoyed. Like, why did he leave me a message? Like, I'm just so stressed out. And then she like does some Jedi shit. And then she's like, hey, what are you really afraid of right now? And then I'm just like, bah! And I'm like, I mean, it's going to make me cry right now, but I'm like, I don't want to die. I'm not ready. And she says to me, you have 2 minutes to live. I'm going to start the timer in a few seconds. And I'm still like I am now, like shaken. And she goes, you have 2 minutes to tell these people what you want them to know. And go. And I'm like, wait, what? Like right now? She's like, yeah, get up and look them in the eye and walk around and tell them you now have 1:45 before it's all over. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna die in less than 2 minutes. What do I want to say? And what do you think I wanted to say? What arose from me was I started walking around the circle, looking into people's eyes, and I was like, wake the fuck up! Wake up and stop wasting time. We have no idea how much we have left on this planet. You are in a miracle of a body in this precious moment on this fucking miracle of a planet. If you want to forgive someone, forgive them. If you want to tell them you love them, love them. If you want to fuck someone, go fuck them. If you want to make love to someone, go do that. Like, do all of that. And stop holding back. If you want to quit the job, quit it. Go do the things. Do the work. Heal the wounds now. Because you might think you have more time, and maybe you do. I don't know. But we don't know that. And the last thing you want to do is be where I'm standing and feeling like you're not ready, that you have some regrets. So wake the fuck up, right? That's where that came from. That's where Wake the Fuck Up came from. Wake the Fuck Up Wednesdays. It's not about good morning. It's about waking up to the impermanence of our life as we know it right now, which is not a scary thing, y'all. It's not a scary thing. This is a good thing. This is a precious thing. This is a great realization to have because, one, it's true. And two, rather than scaring us, it actually, when we have a true realization of this, it enlivens us. We live with more passion, more compassion, more love, more in alignment. We have a sense of urgency to do what matters, and we let the bullshit go. Right? So this is where Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday comes from. This is why I want you to learn these tools so that you don't waste this precious life on shit that doesn't matter. Like, I on the adventure mastermind. Okay, so Freedom School, I teach like all these basic skills, right? To navigate this work. And then on the adventure mastermind, it's like the next level, right? Where we're doing altered states of consciousness work with plant medicine and all kinds of stuff, right? We are doing soul work, deep diving, connection with wilderness, my geeking out on my academic shit, right? All of that together. That's my jam. You're not going to find that anywhere else. And you have your jam. And when you discover that and live it fully, it's like, all right, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing it. It doesn't mean you're all blissed out and everything is perfect, right? We know that that's not true. That's not life. But what it does is allow you to live with no regrets, which means you also die with no regrets, which is more important than you might think. And we get confused about what's really important when we don't realize the temporary nature of our being. When we think we have all the time and all these chances to wait and wait and wait. In the Lam Rim, which is a Buddhist teaching, one of the first meditations you do, one of the first one or two, can't remember, I have to go look it up again, but is the preciousness of this human life. They don't start with all the other shit about the study of emptiness and compassion and all these great teachings, equanimity, all of that. No, it starts with the preciousness of this human life, death and impermanence. Why? Because when you don't have that realization, we get distracted. We get distracted and we lose motivation. We don't feel inspired to do the work. We make up excuses. We do all that stuff. So if we want to be committed to our practice, to creating your greatest masterpiece ever, which is your life, then we need to have that realization. So I really want to encourage you to do that, to have that realization and to not be afraid to go there because it seems scary. Right? You can take my hand. I've been there. Twice. I've had cancer twice. But trust me. I don't want you to get something like cancer happen or to have a fucking crazy accident or something before you're like, oh, wow, this is true. Allow me to have done that for you, yeah? But you can do the work. And let me tell you this, if you don't do this now, something like that will happen because the universe, I believe, it is our duty to realize our potential, our passion, our unique reason for being on this planet. And if we're not doing that, things will happen to urge us to do. I call it like the 2x4 from the universe that hits you upside the head. But what if we didn't wait for that and we just knew that now's the time? This is all we have. Now's the time. Yeah. So think about where in your life you are perhaps holding back, not taking the action you need to take, wanting to do something but putting it off. You probably think you have more time, right? And maybe you do, maybe you don't. And when we have a realization of that, then we'll make different choices. And only you know what choices are right for you in that context, right? But I want to leave you today with a comforting message of to realize the precious, fleeting, temporary nature of this life is one of the sweetest realizations you could have, okay? All right? I love you all. If you want to do more of this work, head over to joinfreedomschool.com. If you're already in Freedom School, head to adventuremastermind.com and let's do this next level shit. Okay? All right. I love you so much. Mwah! Bye. Oh, you're welcome, Catherine. Thank you. Y'all, if you hopped on later, you can catch the replay, okay? All right. Thanks, everyone. You're welcome, Colby. Ciao.